following is a presentation of TFNN, Living a Primal Lifestyle. Now, your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke.
That's right, folks, and we're living a primal lifestyle. Hi, Paige. How you doing today?
Hi, Nico.
You're doing great, aren't you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I know you
Happy
always
Friday.
are. Happy Friday. Yes, it is Friday, folks, and the number here is 877-927-6648. I'd like to remind you to please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. New one out today, folks, and it's jammed full of stuff you need to know if you want to stay healthy. You know, it's flu season, and there's a lot of things in here about the flu, a lot of exercises to help you heal and get better, and there's so much. We could talk about it for weeks, what's in here, but the interesting thing I want to talk about first. And you sent this to me this week, Paige. A 2,000-year-old shipwreck was discovered, and this was in the Mediterranean.
Yes.
And it contains natural medicines. They opened up this huge chest, and in there they found all these natural medicines.
Yeah, they found, they think it was from 130 BC.
Yes.
So thousands of years ago.
Today we would call that alternative medicines, right? That word we don't like.
Exactly, and that's the question who decided on that word?
I don't know.
Who decided that natural medicine was actually an alternative? It doesn't look like our ancestors thought that was the case.
I can tell you who did, probably the AMA, American Medical Association.
Yes.
They decided that they were the only authority, and so everything else is off the shelf. So when we had our cancer program a couple of weeks ago, we really talked about all the alternatives that are out there for people, and there are many. The AMA is squashing it. So and that has to do with their control. They want control over everything. They want you to go to the doctor, to their doctors, to get well. They want you in the system. And of course,
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and here in the United States, so the problem is now, of course, everybody's forced into it by law with Obamacare. And I really do believe that a country like the United States should offer great medical advice, and I think it should be free for everybody. I don't think there should be discrimination on money. I think our health is more important than money. But I don't think it should be done this way, especially when you tie it into the drug companies and the insurance companies. I think the way that Obama really wanted to go in the beginning, and he probably was forced to go another way, was to do a single-payer, non-profit type of system.
I don't know why they had to make something that was thousands of pages long with all these little things. It makes you understand that the reason they did that was so they could slide things in, just like they did with the Patriot Act after 9/11.
With everything that they do.
In reality, why didn't, if they really wanted everyone to have health, if it was really to benefit the people, why didn't they just extend Medicare to everyone?
That, or the other system would be like the VA, which is not the greatest system in the world, but it's better than what we have, and it's a system that seems to work pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
but,
we don't have that. But going back to this boat, this was really good. And what was in this was a... it
was like a perfect time capsule. They were very well preserved.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. And the pills contained all natural plants and materials created crushing celery, onions, carrots, cabbage, alfalfa, chestnuts, radishes, yarrow. What's yarrow? I don't know what that is.
It's a root.
Oh, it's a root? Okay.
Since when did real food become something? They're going back all these years.
This is real food. And hibiscus and clay. Very interesting. Also, the box contained a mortar and pestle, likely to use to crush up these things. So what people were using thousands of years ago was working very well for them, and it was all the natural things that were out, natural foods. Of course, a lot of medications you can say come from plants.
Correctly. And, I think that the clay, what's the significance of the clay in that is that's been an ancient healing secret. Even animals, when they feel sick, you'll see, birds and so forth will go and lick clay. Yeah. Because of the minerals. Clay is high in minerals.
Animals eat grass, too. At certain times I saw my cat many times going out there eating,
Yeah, they'll eat the grass.
Yeah, it was probably telling me, you've been feeding me the wrong stuff, I better go fix myself or something. I don't know.
Absolutely. But when we were reading this, you and I were talking about it, and, the article ends with, the comment that, people argue that we live much longer nowadays, and although we are told life expectancy has doubled from what it was 100, 150 years ago, the truth is people are living longer, but not living longer better. They're
not
a lot
longer
more
healthier.
Healthier, that's what I mean.
That's exactly right. But there is archaeological evidence now that if you go back 15,000 years or 30,000 years, that we were actually at that time living as long or maybe longer.
Maybe double our age now.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. In fact, some of the digs in North America that they're coming up with, and my source for this was Russell Means in one of his books, was saying that we dig up our grandfathers, our great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers, and we're finding through evidence of the bones that they were living probably around 150 years, about 15 to 30,000 years ago.
Yeah, if we go back to those super ancient times, when you study true sciences, they are saying that we were actually in an enlightened age. I mean, there is no doubt that, our ancient ancestors that built some of the most beautiful things. Like, no one has been able to explain how Stonehenge was built or how the pyramids were built. So I believe, and a lot of scientists believe, that we were a much more enlightened civilization, many thousands of years. And true, maybe,
still really don't know who built the pyramids and Anwar and all these things.
Think about the Crusades; those were a very dark age.
The interesting about these pyramids, and I talked about this on previous shows, is they were actually the pyramids were actually each of them was a star in a constellation. So if you put the star maps, and Graham Hancock has a whole book about the chariots or the footprints of the gods, and in there he shows you how if you overlay a star map of Sirius and that whole constellation of Orion over the Gaza plain, that each star is a pyramid, and there's many stars that you can't see with the naked eye. Mm-hmm. Now, how did they know they were there? And most of these ancient structures that are all around the world are star maps.
And that's the key. They're all around the world. Some people think there's pyramids all over the earth. I mean, hundreds of thousands of pyramids, even in the United States. And
in Africa now, they're finding in southern Africa hundreds and hundreds of mounds, and in Mexico, in South America, everywhere, like you said.
These structures mark the precession of the equinox and certain stars.
Yep.
And that tells us that at one time, and you can learn more about this from people like Santos Bonacci, Graham Hancock,
right.
At one time there was truly a one world religion. Everyone knew the truth.
Sure.
Until somehow it became
when you talk
confounded.
When you talk about the sun, everybody worshipped the sun because the sun rose. Mm-hmm. And of course, when they were referring to the prophets and the gods, like Jesus was the Son of God, and God was really the universe, and the sun rose every day, and there's a whole thing about that. But we won't get into that today. That may be one of our other programs someday. But I thought this was a very interesting article about the healing.
So let's not view natural medicine as alternative medicine.
It's not an alternative. It's what we really need today. We need to learn more about it, and that's what kind of Paige and I are doing too. Now, in my newsletter, I did mention that the FDA approved Tamiflu, for instance, and this is children as young as 2 years old or 2 weeks old now can be treated with Tamiflu. Something I don't think you would recommend. I certainly wouldn't recommend.
I don't recommend flu shots at all. Mm-hmm. There are so many ways to protect yourself from the flu. As you know, most of the people that are getting the flu shots are people that have been vaccinated. The flu shots, if you do take them, protect you 62%. Yeah. So that's still a huge margin of error.
And that's I think even inflated.
Mm-hmm. But that's not the point. The real point is what is in the flu vaccine.
Yes, two things. One thing, what's in the vaccine, and is it actually helping your immune system, or is it actually worsening your immune system? Yeah, it may boost it for a while if indeed that it's doing that, and it might not be even the ingredients like the virus that's in there. It might be the adjuvants that are in there that actually do that.
I've looked at the studies, mm-hmm. and all of the infectious diseases that supposedly people claim vaccines were the cure for. In fact, when you look at the studies, the vaccines were introduced way down on the bell curve when the incidence of those diseases were
already gone, lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the vaccine got to take, it's like someone coming in and taking the credit for something.
Yeah.
And, but that's worked to the advantage of pharmaceutical companies to the tunes of billions of dollars. And
it is a money game. Unfortunately, money gets involved in all of this, and that's the sad part of it. You leave the money out of it, and I think the whole picture could change.
Right. And, I tend to like to speak my truth, and my concern with this need to vaccinate these tremendous little babies that are born with an immune system that, unfortunately, today they still have a lot of toxins in their bloods from their mothers. I just don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah. And I have another article here that vaccinated children are 5 times more prone to disease than unvaccinated children. And they're not talking about the flu here. Now they're talking about all the different diseases that is modern diseases. So if you do get vaccinated, you might temporarily hold off the flu, but you may be compromising your immune system in the long run, too.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of science behind both theories, folks. I know a lot of you probably do take flu shots, and I know a lot of people that do. I know a lot of people that don't. I know my professor, Eduardo, the other day we were talking about this in class, and he says, my children are getting the flu. He says, I cuddle them. He says, I want it. I want to be exposed to that because I want my immune system to be strong. And there's a lot of evidence that works that way, too. I know in the instance of smallpox, which is related to the shingle, or chickenpox, which is related to the shingles outbreak in adults. If we don't get exposed to the chickenpox on a regular basis, you lose the immunity to them. So that's why when we talked about the segregation of populations, when our old people are segregated from our young people, now these people are getting shingles because they don't get exposed to the young people as much as we used to. We used to live with our children, folks. We don't anymore.
We send them off to school. Multi-generational families.
Yeah. And not only that, our children, our most precious asset, we send them off as soon as we can. 3, 4, 5 years old, the younger the better, they're saying now. It's a mixed up world as far as I'm concerned. We need to get back to more traditional things, not only medications. Tribes. That's exactly right, the tribe thing. Okay. So flu shots, you got to make your own decisions on this. I haven't had one. I've never had one.
I've never had a flu shot myself.
Yeah. And, I do get the flu once in a while.
I haven't had the flu.
Yeah. And I was telling Paige this earlier. On Tuesday, I was feeling kind of off. I was doing techniques at jiu-jitsu, and then I was getting weaker, and I felt my ears hurting, and a little back of my throat. I thought, I'm going to get the flu. And I remember what Paige says, use hydrogen peroxide in your ears. So
there's research that believes that it is through your ears that the germs penetrate your body. Yeah. Everyone thinks it's the nose. That's why I tell people, don't stick your fingers in your ears a lot.
Well, 3 times a day. I did it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I didn't do it this morning. I feel so much better. Yesterday, I killed them at jiu-jitsu. It was great. I had a great time. So, I really believe this stuff works, so this is great. Folks, so pick up the newsletter. A lot of stuff in there that you need to know. And give us a call, too, at 877-927-6648. And, you can reach us at nico@tfnn.com, Paige at tfnn.com. We answer all our emails. So we'll be right back, folks.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hey, welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and my number here is 877-927-6648. And we had some questions about what do you do with the hydrogen peroxide? How do you use it? What I did was I took a little capful and I tilted my head, put it in the ear, and laid down for about 15, 20 minutes, until like the gurgling is gone, and then you turn over and do the other side. And I did that 3 times a day, and I could really feel it working. Of course, what's the science behind this, Paige?
Well, hydrogen peroxide creates oxygen.
Okay.
And germs cannot live very well in an oxygenated environment. So, baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, they're just great for getting in there as a first offense when maybe you're just starting to feel something coming on.
A lot of the hydrogen peroxide is a great cleaner, and of course your ears are the avenue that germs can go into your whole system because it goes into your whole sinus cavities. Lots of blood there, so very susceptible to anything that comes.
All of our sinuses and our ears, nose, and throat are all connected with the station tubes and so forth. So you're really kind of getting it into that whole environment.
Yeah. In fact, I think that whole system, I mean, a lot of times I'll go to the bathroom, I can feel things going on in my sinuses. I don't know if you feel that or not, but maybe that's just me.
Well, this is all, these things.
I mean, our whole body is one thing, right?
Yeah. Baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, iodine, salt, magnesium, minerals. These are all part of natural medicine. Yeah.
In fact, we have a caller on the line, K. Rico from Costa Rica, and he wants to talk about hydrogen peroxide. So how's it going today, K. Rico?
Hey, hi, guys. Everything's great.
Hey, thanks for calling again.
No problem. It's always good to hear things that teach and things that I apply and get the idea that I'm on the right track, usually with my crazy ideas and methods to keep myself healthy.
People look at us sometimes like we're nuts, but I do believe we're on the right track.
I actually been using hydrogen peroxide. I have it on my list of what I have to pick up today at Walmart. When I'm getting ready to go back to Costa Rica, I always have certain things that I must make sure I have supply of, because in Costa Rica you can't actually buy hydrogen peroxide like you can here in
really?
The yeah, the drugstores there don't have. They have these little cans. Excuse me. They have these little plastic 2-ounce jars that are used for women's bleaching purposes.
Oh.
But they're extremely expensive and very weak.
Okay, so they're not the 3% hydrogen peroxide like we have here.
Right. And I've been using hydrogen peroxide, just like you said, for cleaning out the ears versus a Q-tip.
Yeah, which is very dangerous.
But I also keep lots of hydrogen peroxide. I have supplies there now. If I can't get in the 40-pound weight for my Spirit airline ticket, I weigh my bag before I go, but I've got supplies there just in case. But I keep peroxide for cuts. And
yes.
If I'm in the jungle or in the mountains and I have an injury or a snake bite or something that's, you got to peroxide any open skin area.
Yeah.
Period.
Multi uses.
I got to say to you that you guys were just talking minutes ago about the pyramids.
Yeah.
And in my Latin American travels, I do not get the TV shows that I can escape into here, such as the ancient alien programs. They talk about ancient aliens, something to do with, the point is, the question that has opened up in my mind from watching these programs whenever I'm in country is, okay, the fascination of how were these pyramids built?
Yeah.
If you really want to get deep into it, the technology, the equipment, the precision equipment to masterfully build rock upon rock in such perfection.
And the weight of these things.
Yeah, how were they moved?
And how were they moved? And how did they actually carve them so you can't even get a slip of paper between them?
I just got holy shivers because really,
I just did too.
Well, the reality is, and see if you agree with me, is that that's kind of what this whole 2012 thing is that we are moving back up the scale of enlightenment, and we will one day, maybe not in our physical lifetimes, remember how these were done. We are working back to regaining that ancient knowledge. What do you think?
I'm very open.
Yeah.
You have to be open, or you're just closing off opportunities for your own best being.
Hey, if people didn't open up to the fact that the world might be round, we'd still be thinking it was flat.
Yeah. You know, you can get a lot of these things that you're talking about on YouTube. So YouTube is a really good... You want to stick around after the break?
Okay.
We'll be right back, folks. Rico is going to be with us from Costa Rica, and the number here is 877-927-6648. Paige and I will be right back with our guest.
Just recently, on December 28th, Market Insight subscribers were advised to go long the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, on December 28th at $63.91. And only 2 trading days later, after a huge jump in the markets, Market Insight subscribers were advised to sell the QQQ at $66.64 for a $2.73 or 4.27% profit to start off 2013. At the same time, Tom O'Brien had advised his clients looking for a more leveraged trade that they could have initiated a position in the QLD, the ProShares Ultra QQQ ETF, and over the same 2 trading days, Market Insight subscribers were able to lock in a $4.48 profit or an 8.47% gain in just 1 trade. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during your free trial and pay nothing. Don't miss out on the next great trading opportunity in 2013. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just 1 position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. And on the line, we have Kay Rico from Pompano Beach. And you travel back and forth to Costa Rica quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, I've been all through Latin America since 1973.
Wow. Yeah, I have a client that lives in Costa Rica, and she comes here quite often and works out at my studio. And one of the things she was mentioning that some of the natural products like coconut oil is getting harder to find, coconut water is getting harder to find in Costa Rica. The large companies like Monsanto are kind of putting the kibosh on this so that you can only get those materials from them.
It's a health benefit, coconut. They have a product. I know a place actually in San Jose, just out of San Jose, the capital.
Uh-huh.
And this woman and it's a yoga studio, and she actually has a side business of what's the word I'm using? Purifying, taking out coconut and purifying it and turning it to a liquid ingredient for health benefits.
Sure.
Oh.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's filled with saturated fats. The liquids in there are great. The pulp is great fiber. There's a lot of good benefits to that.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about, I remember she was telling me that she believes there's a major conspiracy by drug companies through the government to allow them to have free rein to make the false claim that coconut oil or coconut is unhealthy for us because of its
yeah. In fact,
bad fat.
This really started back with the saturated fat demonization. Palm oil, coconut oil was demonized for a long time, and now, of course, we're finding out that all that's not true. And this is more, like you said, the large companies wanting to control that they're going to be the source of anything good. And anything in nature that's good is going to come from them and not through the natural sources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I just explain something that it just keeps coming up in my mind that you guys would be interested to hear about?
Yeah.
And maybe you know about ozone 3 medical treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Back approximately in the middle of 1992, I was somewhere in Latin America. I think I was just coming out of Colombia. I can't remember because those were hectic times, and I ran into a buddy who was just coming out of the Dominican Republic, and he said to me, there's a medical hidden office that is taking on HIV/AIDS customers. He called them, the word was customers, that were coming to this place for complete ozone blood treatments. And one of the gentlemen that he mentioned was Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And it just never left my mind. And every time I see Magic Johnson on TNT for the basketball playoffs, I look at him and I think to myself, that man had AIDS? Has AIDS?
I know.
Had HIV?
And it still was amazing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he looks fitter than a fiddle, and, you know, God bless him. But once in a while, I communicate with my friend who told me that about this medical place, and I thought to myself, you know, it's got to be true, but it's for the, unfortunately, it's a medical cure for the rich only because money's going to talk in that institution.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, there sure is a lot of medical. We call it when they refer to them as customers, it's because they're referring to it as medical tourism. And you know, there's people that are doing ozone treatments here in this country. It's just very hard, and then they get harassed if they get too known. That's why a lot of people go across the border. But there's two things that, you know, what you're saying, Mitch, is kind of bringing to my mind. You know, the idea of, you know, having to go other places to get things. Some countries it's easier to get things done than it is here, and vice versa. Well, same thing with nutrition. A lot of you, it might be a good idea to get familiar with Codex Aluminaris. This has been a plan for years to basically restrict our access to nutritional products, and this organization has. It's
a worldwide organization.
Codex Aluminaris has deemed all nutrients poisons.
Yeah,
and they need to protect the people from the poisons.
Yeah.
So therefore, for example, people that live in Germany have a hard time getting B complex supplements because of the dosage.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of people that believe there's some sinister drive behind why they're doing this, you know?
A lot of stuff like that going on. Hey, Kariko, thanks so much for calling in, and you're always welcome to join the show, and we really do appreciate it.
Okay, gracias. Nice
Thanks.
to talk to you.
Okay,
See you next
bye-bye.
time.
Very interesting guy. You know, when you travel around the world, as he does, especially in the South America, which is still virgin territory in most cases, not like going to Europe as much, then I think you get really in touch with indigenous people and what they used to do and, you know, what they're still doing.
And I like hearing firsthand stories. I
Yeah.
hope he'll call us back and keep us
I'm
posted
sure he
on
will.
things.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking earlier today about some of the things, the ingredients in cosmetics and perfumes, and I was really interested in that because as a guy, you know, I splash on a little cologne or aftershave or
You need
something
to come
like
over
that.
and let me make you something that's natural with a natural essential oils aromatherapy.
I'm your favorite guinea pig.
Okay. Not so sexy are hidden chemicals that are in fragrances. We found an article, and that's I believe that's true. And, you know, you stop and think about it. I mean, we talk a lot about food here and toxins in foods, but let's talk about the toxins that we breathe and that we put on our skin. Remember, our skin is an extension of our lungs. What you should not put anything on your skin that you would not be willing to stick your tongue out and have on your tongue. Swallow.
Okay.
Okay?
That
Makes sense?
Yeah.
So what we're finding is I think a lot of these fragrance oils have chemicals, and chemicals that are known, hormone disruptors, carcinogens, and I really want to encourage people to start to explore using natural products on your skin. We're going to talk about that more. I don't know if I've mentioned to you all, I'm a certified aromatherapist, and that's really part of what I do with people because it's not just about food and supplements, it's about what's in your surroundings.
Yeah, and of course the women use many more of these products than we men do, but the average fragrance product tested contains 14 secret chemicals that are not listed on the label. Among them are chemicals associated with hormone disruption. We talked about that the other day with the hand cleaners.
Yeah.
Okay. Allergenic reactions you get from these things, and many substances
Have
have
never
not
been assessed for safety.
How do they get away with this stuff? I don't even understand.
But they have
Money.
somebody famous like Britney Spears making you feel like you are just not sexy if you don't use these toxins.
Yeah.
I don't even like to see. I don't like to even walk through a department store that has those synthetic. They don't even smell good to me.
Yeah, and boy, I'll tell you, if you go through Macy's or these big department stores, I mean, they're making millions of dollars off this stuff, and you know. Can't be good for you.
If you use
you're using this all over your body too. I mean, goodness gracious.
If you use essential oils as your fragrance, not only are you smelling great, but they are actually therapeutic and they have healing properties and they're evidence-based medicine to calm you down, to lower blood pressure, to help clarity of mind, peace of mind, build the immune system, protect you. So a lot of my clients that come in, they get inhalers. They get inhalers to protect them, so carrying around their car. And
I know you had the inhaler last week that you had. That was so good.
And then I give them to other people that have trouble sleeping. I put oils like lavender and jasmine, things that are calming, so they can go to sleep. And so we also make facial emulsions that are anti-aging with the essential oils. So really start to minimize. I mean, just think how much money you can save. You can afford your organic food. You start cutting out all these synthetic cosmetics and things.
Yeah, so all your, I mean, they've got a list of things here, and it's quite a good article. It's going to be in my next newsletter, and the safety of these things have never been assessed, and there's no labeling. All these ingredients are secrets, and they can get away with this because they patent a certain formula, and they don't want to give it away, so they don't have to. I guess that's the way it's structured.
It's big business, and let's just
because it's not food. Because it's not. Yeah, it's not food. So they don't have to put all these labels on it. So very disturbing, and it's quite an extensive article. And they have a whole thing in here about product testing, and independent labs have tested these things and the findings of these tested. And this is a worldwide use of all these chemicals and fragrances that probably if you're pregnant,
Well, they
affect
get stored in the fat cells, so you're becoming a chemical waste dump when you're using these things. So it's just another exposure to toxicity that we don't need, and our children don't need it.
Yeah. So when you're pregnant, using these things is really bad. But on a daily basis, things. Just think about it: the things that you use every day: shampoos, lotions, bath products, cleaning sprays, air fresheners, laundry detergent, dishwashing detergent.
And every single one of these you can make yourself for pennies on the dollar.
Wow.
So maybe that's what we'll start doing, and we'll start giving recipes.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
it'll be in the newsletter for newsletter subscribers.
Yeah.
Remind me too. What I'd like to kind of follow up with this point for next newsletter. I'd like to get you the research study on forest bathing.
Oh, forest bathing. Yeah, you mentioned it a little bit. I'm really interested in that. So,
right. Just in a nutshell, because it's kind of along the same lines.
You just don't go out in the forest and start taking off your clothes and jump into a little pool. Is that what happens?
Well, you could. But in Japan, people do this. This is a practice of forest bathing, and in a nutshell, conifers, pine trees, conifers, the essential oils. There's a lot of essential oils that are based on the conifer family, the spruces, the pines, etc. They are high in monoterpenes that raise the immune system. In a nutshell, and I'd like to find the studies because I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
They've done research that people who engage in the act of forest bathing can go for a walk in a forest for 45 minutes, and their immune system stays elevated for a month.
Oh, wow.
So in Japan, they practice this. Now, I immediately started thinking about this. We hardly have any forests right where we are.
No.
Okay, I'm sure there's, we have other benefits. We get the same benefit when we walk down the beach.
Yes.
The piezoelectric of walking in the sand, in the salt water, the grounding. All right, so that's beautiful too. I mean, between beach walking and forest,
got it made.
so we have to take a road trip to Ocala National Forest.
Yeah. Well, there is some pine forest very close here.
But I think people would be interested in that. But this is my point. With essential oils, when you wear them, you're getting a forest bath every day.
Yeah.
You can make these. You can make an inhaler that you breathe, so you get the benefit. I'm going to create one, I think, and call it the forest bath.
Yeah, sounds great.
And then the other thing is when you start to clean your house with natural essential oils, you are creating an environment where not only are you killing germs, including MRSA and staph and things that these fake chemicals can't even touch, but you're actually breathing in and building the immune system of your family. So
that makes a lot of sense. I remember when I was living up north in Michigan and in Canada, when springtime would come and you could finally go out, I would go out to the park and just sit out in the park for, an hour or so, and how great that was, and how elevated you felt, and how your immune system, you could almost feel it like it was working immediately. It's like going out in the sun. And I have a friend of mine, Rick, we've been buddies since high school, and I remember visiting him for lunch, and he says, I got to go home because I got to sit in the sun for 15 minutes. And every day he would sit in the sun 15, 20 minutes to get his vitamin D.
Okay, that's great for what we want to go to next.
Okay.
Because you just said that, getting vitamin D and sitting in the sun.
Right.
We're talking about these simple things. It's just not, it's not rocket science.
No, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Exactly, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
How to figure out how to do it. But you talked about sitting in the sun, and that's the key point. Right now, everyone who comes in my office, if they've had lab work or they haven't, I really want them to check their vitamin D levels.
Yes.
Because
can't stress this enough, folks.
If you go to the Vitamin D Council, 80% of people are low in vitamin D. And although supplementation is a good way to try and get those numbers up, particularly in the middle of flu season, people that have adequate vitamin D just don't get the flu. But I can't impress upon you about how important it is to get the vitamin D that you get from the sun. It's a much different version than what you get out of the bottle. I mean, really, you need to do both. But there's a special sulfur.
I'm sure it's a lot faster, too. I mean,
you get a lot more. I mean, you get in 30 minutes out in the sun, you get about 100,000 international units. And all these people are worried about taking their 1,000 or 2 out in the sun. But it's the sulfurization. There's a process that happens that you create a sulfur-bound molecule that's really good for healing. And you and I found the sulfur study.
Yes, we did.
And you wanted me to go over that?
I definitely want you to get into that. We're going to probably run out of time, but let's get into as much as we can because this is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cellular matrix study began in 1999, and it was kind of based on a fatal breast cancer, and they were trying to figure out, did this germ cell for breast cancer respond to organic sulfur, a mineral that was always in abundance? And let me just read here. While researching this cancer, it became obvious that the sulfur cycle plays an important role in the regeneration of our cells. Now remember, guys, I just told you it's important that there's a certain sulfurization that happens with the sun. And the study also found that the use of chemical fertilizers has effectively broken the sulfur cycle in countries that use these fertilizers. Who uses these fertilizers? We do. So here's a statistic for you. Since 1954, rates of disease in the U.S. have gone up approximately 4,000%. 1954. Yes. And guess what? In 1954, chemical fertilizers were mandated by our government. Fertilizers such as ammonium nitrates and sulfates, which lack bioavailability, appear to have broken the sulfur cycle.
Wow.
So,
Well, this all tied into the food. Everything that is happening with the modern farming is really counterproductive to our health. There's no doubt about that. Folks, we got one more segment coming up. The number is 877-927-6648. Please pick up the Health Signals newsletter, and Paige and I will be back in a moment.
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll you'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Show, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. Next week we have a guest she'll be on the phone. It's Polly Halstead, and her book is called Primal Cuisine, Cooking for the Paleo Diet. It's a beautifully illustrated book.
Great recipes in there.
Great recipes, and I mean, they look great just looking at these things, and we'll have some pictures to show. Yeah, I love the pictures too. But I mean, this is a really extensive book, and there's also a foreword in here by Nora Gagalis, who has been on our show too, author of Primal Body, Primal Mind. But I do want to get back to the sulfur. Because I think it's important to understand really what's going on here. And it really comes down to that these gases interact with our cells and our body in a certain way. And by using the wrong products, we're really restricting.
Well, the demineralization of our soil is having a tremendous impact on the demineralization of our bodies.
Okay.
And Linus Pauling, is the one that did all the research with vitamin C, and he felt that the cause of all disease was a mineral deficiency. So this study is ongoing with this study on organic sulfur, and most people, including myself, had been using primarily MSM as a sulfur. MSM and vitamin C are an excellent team for removing calcifications and getting a sulfur solution, but what this research study is showing that there's just a tremendous amount of anti-caking agents and additives, and you know how I feel about those. I call them excipients. Stuff that's added that's not for you, it's for the machines. And that most people that were taking MSM for their sulfur solution were not getting the results that they're finding in this study by taking the organic sulfur, something we might help people get a link to. I don't know. But what we've got is because our soil, we're using these artificial fertilizers, our soil just doesn't have this mineral balance.
This says we are seeing cellular regenerations in the face of photographs of our study participants, but it takes up to 7 years to regenerate all the cells of the body when the cells are healthy. Damaged cells from trauma or chemical processes cannot regenerate unless the ability to transfer the transport of oxygen across the cell membrane is functioning.
And that's what sulfur helps.
Yes, it helps the functioning of the...
Helps the oxygen get in and out of the cell.
Okay.
Okay,
so that starts to make sense to me now.
And so what, some of the things, we might just talk about, that they're seeing an improvement when you're getting greater sulfurization is, in cancer. Obviously, cancer is an anaerobic condition by definition. So they're seeing improvements there. Arthritis.
Osteoporosis.
Well... and let me talk about arthritis just for a second. Okay, because calcification, when calcium has to come out of the bones to alkalize the body, we end up getting calcification of organs. The aorta, cataracts, the pineal gland, which is so important to our spiritual health. So sulfur has been seen to help with this, alkalization. And I'm really impressed with what people are seeing in terms of the arthritis and the osteoarthritis, the osteoporosis, skin conditions, acne, cirrhosis, rosacea,
cardiovascular disease, diabetes, gastrointestinal disorders, the liver, parasites, migraines and headaches, ADD, ADHD, all these depression and mood enhancing, or not enhancing, actually the opposite. So organic sulfur acts as a stabilizer, a mood elevator. So there's a lot to this. I'm not up to speed on all of it, but I'm going to do some much more research, and you're going to help me on that.
Yeah, well, I think that what we're seeing is that our soil is, even in the best of intentions, our soil is just not what it was. And that's why some of our food, we're lacking.
Yeah, so it's all connected, folks. So we were running out of time here. But the thing is that we're really trying to investigate a lot of these things. And the deeper you go, the more you are opening up the door to this large room of investigation to try to figure out what's going on. But stay healthy, folks, and keep your eyes wide open. So we're going to be back next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.